When I have the opportunity to work out, whether it's 10 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, whatever the case may be, I try to take advantage of that, because every little step forward that you're able to do is another step forward, not only physically, but mentally as well. And what Iron Asylum means to me is growth, and growth in every aspect of my life, not only in my career, but in my inner circle, in my mental health, and in my physical health. There's always that opportunity for growth. There's always another opportunity to meet somebody that can change your life. I've always been the believer of the more that I can help others, the more that can help me. And not just in a selfish way, but just in a rewarding way. I wasn't as directly involved in the changing of people's lives, but now I'm directly involved in the changing of thousands of people's lives. Stop trying to live life alone. You cannot succeed alone. You cannot overcome everything alone. You might be able to for a while, but the biggest thing is you don't have to. My name is Trey. I'm 30 years old. I'm the manager of Iron Asylum Newport News. So I started my why of why I got into working out and why I've continued it over the length of my journey. So I started actively working out and taking the gym very seriously when I was 16 years old. I went to a very small school, and our high school football team got cut because we didn't have enough kids come out to fill a team. So I wanted to get stronger, faster, bigger, and everything else for the team for the next year. So my English teacher at the time, she was a competitive bodybuilder. So she helped me develop my first workout plan, gave me a nutrition plan, and I followed it to the T. Ended up, going from 150 pounds at 15% body fat to 166 pounds at 7% body fat in about 3 months. Saw immediate fast results and was really just excited with how my body was progressing and the confidence that came with it. Shortly after that beginning of my journey, I ended up getting in a very traumatic car accident. I ended up crashing into 2 trees and flipping into a river at 110 miles an hour. And the only 2 reasons of why I survived that night was, 1, because I had a seatbelt on, and 2 was because I had built up so much protective muscle, from the intense training that I had been doing, that I was able to walk away with the injuries that I did. I'd broken 2 ribs, but if I didn't have the protective muscle in my upper body, I would have broken my neck. I bruised a lung. I'd bruised my left frontal lobe with slight bleeding in my brain. And I was looked like a stroke victim for about 12 weeks after that accident. I had lost a lot of muscular control to the right side of my body. And the recovery for that was significantly shortened due to the level of fitness that I'd come into the injury with. And so at that moment, fitness legitimately saved my life that night. I wouldn't be able to have this conversation with you, nor walk up the stairs to even do this video if it wasn't for fitness. And so at that point, from then on, I was well, I have to continue to do this because, 1, it saved my life, and just the level of confidence that it provided me as a kid who was, going through puberty, hitting my growth spurts, was relatively a shy kid. I was able to really come out of my shell, and that was just something that you can't put a price on. The correlation between fitness and mental health, I think they go very hand in hand. I know when I'm not as proactive in my physical activity and my training, my mental health also suffers. So not only do I start to suffer and feel worse physically, but I also start to feel worse mentally as well. I think they are directly related. Being able to come in here and do this gym and, be able to work out, being able to unplug, being able to take all those stresses of, rent, relationship issues, family issues, just life issues, anything that's floating around in your noggin 24/7, you can truly just put that to the side and just focus on yourself for an hour and have that time to reset, to be okay, this isn't actually that bad. Okay, I am going to make rent this month. Okay, I am going to be able to make that car payment. I am doing okay, and I'm doing enough, and I'm continuing to move forward. So I know for me, if I don't stay on top of my fitness, I definitely start to suffer. So when I have the opportunity to work out, whether it's 10 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, whatever the case may be, I try to take advantage of that, because every little step forward that you're able to do is another step forward, not only physically, but mentally as well. What does Iron Asylum mean to me? So I've been a manager of Iron Asylum for 6 years now. And what Iron Asylum means to me is growth, and growth in every aspect of my life, not only in my career, but in my inner circle, in my mental health, and in my physical health. When you walk into Iron Asylum, whether it's your first day, whether you've been coming here for 10 years, Whether you're a first-time employee or you also been another manager for 5 years, there's always that opportunity for growth. There's always another opportunity to meet somebody that can change your life, who can share their story and give you a different perspective on life and how you would look at issues. I've been able to meet several lifelong friends here in this facility. I know I'm going to continue to meet more. I know every single day that I walk into Iron Asylum, it's not going to be the same day. I'm going to be able to have a new experience. I'm going to have a new opportunity at growth. And that's what Iron Asylum means to me. What made me want to make fitness my career? My passion towards fitness, why did I choose to make that my career? So I come from a family of helpers, and I actually didn't even realize this was my why until the first gym that I worked at. I was talking with one of the owners one day, and I explained to him what my family members did. So my mother's a sign language interpreter. My father at the time was a principal of a high school, and my sister was a counselor. And he was like, "Oh, so you're just a family that helps people?" And I was like, "Yeah, we kind of are." So everyone in my family had their particular niches that they were able to benefit somebody else. They were able to focus on not themselves and be able to help out the person next to them. And I've always really appreciated that. I've always been the believer of the more that I can help others, the more that can help me. And not just in a selfish way, but just in a rewarding way. When I started my fitness career, I was a personal trainer, and I was able to have that direct influence on somebody's life. Transitioning into the management side, when I joined Iron Asylum, I wasn't as directly involved in the changing of people's lives, but now I was directly involved in the changing of thousands of people's lives. And in the 6 years that I've been manager here, we've had over 10,000 members come through this place. And that is 10,000 different people that I've had an indirect involvement in helping them change their lives for the better. Whether that be them just, losing some weight, hitting a PR in the gym, being able to keep up with their grandkids while they're growing up. All those things I'm able to help with in the smallest way, just providing them with a safe facility to where they can come, feel comfortable, and take their training, and achieve their training goals. So that's why I wanted to make fitness my career. And my fitness career, what is something that I've had to unlearn, or what is something that I've learned about myself? What I've learned about myself is that I am the kind of person that needs consistency and routine. And I know when I fall off of that consistent routine of working out, my life also falls off that routine as well. So I know the gym isn't just a hobby, it's a lifestyle. And if I, miss that piece of my lifestyle, or I start slacking on that piece of my lifestyle, the rest of my life can also falter with it. So that's something, the biggest thing that I've learned is that, consistency in the gym isn't just being better for your physical health, it's being better in your day-to-day life. Because if you can show up on those long, hard days and show up here and do the work that you need to get done, you're going to do that work 9 times out of 10 as soon as you step out those doors. And the biggest thing that I had to unlearn was that honestly, that I don't know everything. I've definitely been a lot better at, checking my own intelligence when it comes to physical fitness. I've obviously been in the industry for over 10 years now. So I have a vast amount of knowledge in this field, but there's always more to learn, and there's always more to take in from other people, from how they would do things, how they would eat things, how they would set up their lifestyle or their setups like that. And knowing that since I don't know everything, that means I can adapt to anything. So the most rewarding thing that I see when somebody comes in and changes their lives within an Iron Asylum is seeing their face, that glow of their presence. You get somebody in on that first day, they're shy, they're not really talkative, they're swiping in, they're like, "Hi," and then they run off and go do their workout. But, seeing that day to day of them coming in every single day, they're a little bit more talkative. They're a little bit more open. They're a little bit more positive. And you can literally just see that energy in them just start to expand and show their true self. That is probably the most beautiful thing that you can ever see, because you can actually see that person falling in love with themselves. And that's just a really cool thing to see. What's a sacrifice I make quietly every single day, but others might not see is, as a manager and as a leader of a team, you are sometimes not allowed to let life get to you. You're not allowed to have those bad days. You're not allowed to have those, that open bearing of the storm, So I've noticed, through my years of dealing with different team members, having multiple different people underneath me and me being the leader of that person, I notice on those days when I let life wear me down and I let those bad days win, my team is affected. So what I had to learn as a manager and a leader is that I'm technically not allowed to have those bad days. I am still allowed to have bad days because I am human. I'm just not allowed to show them. Because when I'm in those moods, when I'm, not talkative, when I'm not presenting that energy that I want my other team members to show, even if I'm not directly telling them I'm in a bad mood or directly like showing it, I can see that change in my team. I can see the change in their energy. So for me, as being a leader, I need to just kind of deal with it. I need to suck those days up and just still provide that same level of energy, because it's not just me depending on me. It's, my team depending on me. It's my members depending on me. And I have a responsibility to those people that, if I had to suck up a bad day, that's worth it. The key moment for me when I started working at Iron Asylum that made me really want to be a part of this team and watch this community grow was when we were going through COVID. So I started off as assistant manager of the Kenso location of September 15 of 2019. And then obviously by March 17th, we were shut down, due to COVID. So I just became acting manager that December of 2019, January 2020. 3 months into me having my first management role of Iron Asylum, our gym shut down. But just the level of support that we received from the community, the level of care, people reaching out like, hey, what can we do to keep our memberships open? What can we do to support your teams? Hey, I know you guys are doing outside workouts. Can we come help you bring out the equipment? What can we do for you to keep this gym afloat? Because this gym means more to us than just a gym. That's when I really realized that as a community basis, we have something that is a staple in this area. That's something that people will truly enjoy and want to be a part of. And it just was such an honor to be able to not only be a part of it, but be a forefront of keeping it open and allowing it to continue to grow. So that's why I wanted to continue to grow with this company. So what part of lifting or going to the gym makes the biggest impact on my life or somebody else's life? I say it a lot when I do tours or I'm talking to like new members or even just other members that, especially when they're coming in and they got a bad day and they're telling me about it. I'm like, all right, man, well, it's time to go hit that iron therapy. This is a place where you can have a healthy outlet to release everything that we as humans take in. We're kind of now, I would say, more into the era of having to like withhold, because everything is so public that we only show the positive sides of our lives. So then we're just pushing down deeper all of that negative stuff that's really truly bothering us down to our core. And this is that one place where you can take it out safely and in an area where people will understand. You're not going to be able to come into this facility on a bad day and just be angry at the weights, yelling, throwing shit or stuff around, because we can't do that here. But lifting intensely, and nobody will judge you here because they get it. It's like, okay, that person's working through something, and it's great that they're working it through here instead of outside doing something they're not supposed to be doing. How would I describe the Iron Asylum community? Intentional. People who come to Iron Asylum, they have an intent behind their eyes. They have an intent behind their goals, and they have an intent with the community that they surround themselves with. We always say at Iron Asylum that we want to provide a facility and an atmosphere that has the best equipment, the best atmosphere, and a place for like-minded people to come together to take their training to the next level. And that's due to the fact that our members come into this building with intent. So, whether you're a first day lifter, who's just decided to make the switch to us, or you're a 10 years, veteran lifter, and you've, just moved in the area, you want to join Iron Asylum, you walk in through those doors with an intent. Whether that intent may be to hit a new PR or that intent may be to help somebody else that needs it. But that's how I would describe the community of Iron Asylum as intentional. If I had a message to put out to the world, stop trying to live life alone. You cannot succeed alone. You cannot overcome everything alone. You might be able to for a while, but the biggest thing is you don't have to. Find a community, find those people that support you. We were at an event the other day and we heard this great term, be a leader and a ladder. Like if you've got something that somebody else wants, provide that information to them. If you want to get to somewhere else, to someplace else where somebody else is, ask them how they did it. Be a sponge. Be that person who doesn't have to just face everything alone. There's a whole community out here, not even just at the Iron Asylum, that wants to help you and that also has the same mindset as you. So stop trying to take everything on your own. You don't have to, and there's tons of people out there who want to help, especially in this building. What would the soundtrack of my life be for the last 15 years of my lifting journey? It would be Antidepressants by Baby No Money. Mainly because everything that I've done in my life, whether it be through the workouts that I've done, the people that I've met, the growth that I've had in this company, those have all been the antidepressants of my life. I've definitely had struggles with my own mental health, since I was a very young age. Fitness has been huge. My community has been huge. My job has been huge. All of those aspects of what I've put myself into and the things that I have sought out have been those things that helped me pull me out of a lot of different holes. So I would say Antidepressants, Baby No Money.